Thanks for your interest in the altitude experience. For a long time, I've been exploring how do I pass on the principles I've learned over years of leadership. I've discovered, and I'm convinced the best way to do this is through coaching alongside simple visual tools that you can easily remember and apply to your unique leadership context. So let me tell you a little bit about what this altitude experience is going to look like. We'll gather twice a month to learn a tool together. We'll be able to discuss it as well as share how the tool has been helpful in your world, as well as brainstorm ways that you could approach this. I'm also excited to introduce you to an online course that you'll be able to follow along with as we journey through this year of learning and growing our leadership together. You'll be able to do it at your own pace or track along what we're learning.
Here's a demo of the altitude course. Okay. Here is the video on using altitude. Firstly, let's go back to your library on Pro. And this is only accessible once you've paid for the Pro workspace. All right, so what we want to do, I've already got one open, so we'll have your current progress, but let's pretend like we've never done it before. There's assessments. We want to look in the courses section, and we want to click on Start the Altitude Training. And here it'll come up with your course overview page covering what you'll learn during this course. It's got any resources. You'll have all your different sessions here, as well as a PDF workbook. And here, if you want to access sessions kind of out of order or depending on what we're covering, you can do that here. But let's get started. So click on the Get Started. So there's 5 parts of each lesson. The first one will have a tool. It's a little longer, like 5 to 7 minutes. That's that there. And then it'll have the tool that they're covering here. And then as well as some of the key points, kind of explaining. All right, so normally you do markers complete. I've already done that one. And you go to the second part where it's got an exercise talking about application. It's a shorter video, about a minute. And then you'll be able to fill in, what the exercise in for your learning. Just a short few questions. And then it's got further information on that. Again, you'll mark this as complete, as I've already done it. Don't need to do that. So you can just navigate up here. Then we'll have the X challenge. And usually where the first exercise is like your growth, this will have a challenge, an opportunity for you to share this lesson with someone else. So it's got a short video again, as well as what that challenge is. So in this context is like choose one person in your life to share this tool with. And then you'll get a chance to kind of work through this process. We use something called Core, where you'll share kind of what your learning opportunity is, and then kind of, what revelation you've got of an area of growth. You'll be able to call it, like, what is it specifically? What is your tendency? Owning it. It's like, yes, I see this as an issue. I'm going to respond, and here's your response of maybe how or why or what. And then execute is like, what does your accountability look like? What is your actual response going to look like? Again, you mark that as complete, and then they're not automatically be taken to that next session where you're capturing your takeaway. What's your biggest takeaway? Again, you'd mark as complete, and then you go to the final section where is your quiz, where you just answer a few short questions about have you got the concept. And there you go. It'll take maybe 5 minutes to do. And then you mark it as complete. And then you'll be taken to the next session. Hope that's helpful.
So I'd like to give you a taste of some of the tools we'll cover during our time. The first tool I'm going to cover is the change equation. Why can it be so hard to change? Well, to answer this, we've got to break down what are the elements of what can initiate change. What are the problems? And how do we put it all together? So we've looked at this over many years as we've helped others make shifts in their lives. And I want to teach a tool that has come from our experience. And sure enough, it's called the change equation. So what we do know is to make a change, there is a natural resistance to overcome. Some of it could be external, but a lot of it is quite often internal. And until we have the impetus and are aware of what these three ingredients are, we're left powerless against the resistance that we face. The first element we need to have is D, the dissatisfaction with the status quo. So what this means is until we're miserable, discontent enough with our current reality, we won't have enough fire lit underneath us to be uncomfortable, to want to get up and make a move. But dissatisfaction isn't enough purely on its own. The second is V, for vision. We need to have a compelling vision of what the future we want, of the future that we want, or the future that we can see. Because if we don't, we'll just sit back down again. We need to know where we want to go or who we want to be. The third is N, for natural next step. Because we're not talking about a leap here. We need something we can do immediately that will start us towards where we're trying to go or what we're trying to achieve. It's got to be small enough for us to achieve with our current resources and capacity, but it's got to be large enough to get us out of our seat. When we put this equation into practice, what it does, it really activates our action bias in a measured way, an intentional way to move you towards the change you want to make. So this next tool is at the heart of our ethos here at Orangery. It's personally one of my favorites and has been central to my growth in becoming a leader worth following. Because whether we like it or not, we all have blind spots and we all have tendencies. And when we're aware of this, it can change everything. So have you ever had someone in your corner who seems to be quite easily able to calibrate high support and high challenge? Well, it's rare, but did you know it's actually possible for you to do that? But the problem is, none of us naturally bring both high support and high challenge, because we all have tendencies that veer towards one or the other. And until we're intentional in the area most unnatural to us, we will not consistently be that liberating leader to those we serve. So when we provide high support but little challenge, what's happening is that we're actually protecting those we serve. And this isn't a positive usage of the word. It's us absorbing work and responsibility that others should be doing. We hint at our expectations and then become resentful as people do not pick up and read our mind of what our hopes are. And ultimately what we're doing, we're creating a culture around our leadership of entitlement and mistrust. So when we're on the other side, when we're comfortable bringing high challenge but low support, we're actually being leaders that people have to follow, but not ones that they want to. We lead from position, we use fear as a motivator, and because of this, people won't speak up and tell us what they really think, because of fear of reprisal, as well as they feel dominated by us. We create a culture of fear and manipulation around our leadership. So what happens when we bring low challenge and low support? Well, this is the worst one. Because essentially we're checking out. We're abdicating our leadership and we create a culture of apathy around it. And the goal is to create high support and high challenge. And when we do this, we liberate and empower those we lead and interact with. We create a culture of opportunities and thriving where no one will want to leave you as a leader. And the healthy teams and culture you're able to create is created by you being a leader worth following. So I hope you've enjoyed these tools and find them useful. During the altitude experience, it's a year long where you're tracking with others. You're going to learn and apply not just these tools, but many more, and develop a way of thinking about how do you lead yourself and how do you lead others. And all of this combines to take you to new heights and greater depth in your leadership. So if you're interested, would you sign up below? Or maybe you would need to book a discovery call with me to learn a little more. Thanks so much for your time.